Hi, this is Christina Singh, and I've got another episode of The Right News for you. It's been a while since the last episode, and I apologize. It's because I was trying to fiddle and create visuals, but I found that it's actually a lot of work, and I don't actually have the expertise nor the tools for it. So we'll just stick with this. And in this episode, I'd like to cover the economics of what's about to come. I've just been watching a whole series of YouTube videos, and it's really enlightening. So there are a few financial whiz that are quoted through these series of financial analytical videos. And the two men in question are financial whizzes in their own areas, Jeremy Grantham as well as Dalio. These two men have predictions. So in a summary, I'll just share with you what these predictions are and what you could do perhaps if you're in an investing mode and if you're fearful of your wealth or a decimation of your wealth, what you could do to hang on to it. So basically the predictions of these two men are rather similar in that the US economy in particular, and also if you look around the world at what has happened with the pandemic, is that in order to restore, as a result of the lockdowns, the job losses and the severe crash of many economies around the world, is that governments have been printing money. And unfortunately, when that happens and that money has no reserves to back it up or assets, then what you create is a situation where there's going to be inflation and an inability of the government to actually finance their printing of that money. And so this artificial stimulus, if you like, cannot go unheeded. And history has shown, as the two men have looked at the historical past and learned from it, is that when you have a situation like that, you're creating an economic bubble. That bubble, of course, cannot be sustained, and at some point that bubble is going to burst. And unfortunately for us, that crash is impending. So these two men have basically said that one of the ways that you can avoid this crash is by diversifying your investments. And just a point to note is that two of the richest men in the world, namely Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, his mentor and the guru in stock investments, who throughout his career as an investor has said that you never sell your valued stocks. But in an unprecedented move, Warren Buffett has sold off 11 of his stocks. And ironically, one of them happens to be Pfizer Inc. Also, he has sold off many bank stocks like JP Morgan. And I will share at the bottom of this video a link to that full episode that you can watch on the exact stocks that he has sold. And he has also, on top of that, bought into 9 stocks. What's interesting is that these 9 stocks represent a shift. So whereas before he used to buy bank stocks, he sold off most of his bank stocks, and he has bought instead into stocks that ride on the internet, and of course will fuel the growth of things like Zoom and calls, so mobile stocks. And as well, he has bought into pharmaceutical stocks. So it's really interesting that he has sold off Pfizer, but yet bought into Merck and a couple of these Abbott laboratories, I believe, and a few of these other pharmaceutical stocks. As well, his protege, Bill Gates, has also sold off 11 stocks. And when I say sold off, it's not just, 3%, 5%, but they have fully sold off sometimes as much as 50% to 100% of that stock, like completely divested themselves of those stocks. So it's really interesting. And Bill Gates has basically sold off 11 stocks, and he has just bought one. And that one stock that he has bought is a stock known as Schrödinger. And Schrödinger is a company that does chemical simulation software. So very interesting that he has bought into this stock. Perhaps he knows something that the rest of us do not know. So the investment strategies that the two wizards, Grantham and Dalio, tell us is, number one, get rid of stocks that are not overvalued. So stocks that are performing at their peak, you want to get rid of those, and look for stocks that diversify your portfolio. So for example, like the S&P, stocks that actually will buy you into a range of diversified stocks. Also look at stocks in emerging economies. So Warren Buffett has invested in stocks that have dealings in China, in particular Alibaba, and Alibaba's arm. He has also bought Coca-Cola and Pepsi Cola, as well as Walmart. So if you think about it, it's consumer, the consumer stocks, those bread and butter kind of stocks that people on a daily basis need. He has also bought McDonald's stocks. And so that's a tip for you if you're into buying stocks and you can afford the high price that these stocks are valued at. That's the way to go. So the other way that you can hold on to your wealth, or at least stay wealthy, is to invest in gold. And gold, according to Dalio, is one commodity that has withstood the test of time, and he himself has invested into quite a lot of gold and gold stocks as well. So those are the main focus strategies of these investors, and that's the tip that has been given by these people. If you want more information and if you want to go into detail and the outlooks of these financial wizards, have a look at the links below. But basically the story is that the gap between the haves and the have-nots is going to widen, and that the economy as it now stands is about to crash, and that the crash is going to mirror what happened in the 1930s when we had the Great Depression, and in 2008 with the other big crash, financial crash that we had. So be forewarned, be prepared, try not to be in debt if you can, get out of debt, because that's not the place to be. Because if we do see a crash, jobs are going to be gone, and you don't want to be caught out in a position where you are in debt and you have no means to finance that debt. That will be terrible. So I hope this has helped you somewhat. That's from watching a lot of financial and economic videos, and I thought I just had to share this with you. If you like this, just do the like button, and if you can, subscribe to this as well. Thanks, and that's from me, Christina, at The Right News. Take care.